Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Astral Tourist Podcast, your cosmic passport to the spaces in between. Lucid dreams, astral projections, and strange experiences beyond the veil. I am the Astral Tourist. Sometimes I also go by Starry. And this episode is a journey through the powerful energies of the corn moon during a lunar eclipse, a blood moon too. Oh my gosh, what a night. A crazy night. So I'm just calling this one, my wild corn moon astral adventures or something like that, because it was crazy and mixed up, and but I just report what I'm seeing in the astral, or if I think it's lucid dream, I will say so. If I just don't know, I will say so. So this is like a mix, I think. But there are lots of messages and weirdness afoot in this one. Oh my gosh. We have a dragon, familiars, desert priestess, energy vortexes, just a wild time. Oh my gosh. So let's get started here. The corn moon, what is that anyway? Well, the full moon of early September is traditionally a time of harvest, transition, and preparation for change. Spiritually, it's seen as a liminal threshold, the space between the fire of summer and the first whisper of autumn. I don't know why I just got tingles talking about it. That's the oddest thing to get tingles about just right now, but I did. Anyway, this year it arrived with a lunar eclipse, also a blood moon lunar eclipse. I did not get to see it here on the East Coast, but I observed it on a YouTube channel where somebody was taking pictures with their telescope, and it was incredible. Oh my gosh. So I went to bed later that night, sore from lifting furniture and cleaning, and I'm still in the moving process. I'm fully moved, but I'm unpacking still, and I will be for a long time, I think. But I was feeling intuitively that something was kind of waiting for me. I didn't know what. So I decided to just meditate for a little bit as I was also trying to fall asleep. I decided, I hadn't had any time to officially do a drawing down of the moon or anything. So I was just meditating on the moon, thinking about the lunar energy filling me up, charging up my astral body. I think I might have done a few mantras, but I don't remember which ones. Nothing particularly out of the ordinary, probably just an Om Mani Padme Hum or something. And the first presence, which might have been kind of hypnagogic and not a full-on astral projection, was Helios. I saw Helios, large and shining. Yeah, the sun god, radiant and golden, quietly powerful, and it just really shocked me. I almost woke up, whether it was hypnagogic or astral or just a connection with Helios. I don't know. I was just so shocked. I'd been, drawing in the lunar energies, and I don't generally think about Helios as being very lunar. So, yeah. And, I was just thinking about it for a moment, maybe this is about balance. I don't know. And what he did was he reached inside my back and pulled out something that looked twisted, like old twisted cords or something. So I might have got a energy healing from Helios, or at least something that looked like him. And my back did start to feel better. I don't always talk about my pain. I have fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue. It's, a lot of times I can bypass it with filling up on astral energy and meditation and all of that. But with the move, it's really set it off. And whoever that being was, Helios or not, he put his hand in my back and pulled out a bunch of awful stuff. And my back did feel better when I woke up in the morning. So whatever that was or whoever that really was. Thank you, Solar God. Thank you, Helios, or one being Helios. I don't know. And then there was also a vision I had of a woman in desert robes standing in a windy sunlit expanse. Her presence was strong, rooted, and ancient. Around her neck was a large golden disc, which at first I thought looked like a giant coin, but then I thought, oh, these are also like sun symbols. And so I just wasn't quite sure. The name Tyche came to mind, like the Greek goddess of fortune, maybe. Because I was also thinking like that could be a coin, or maybe both, a coin or the sun. But this also felt older, like maybe Atlantean or some kind of pre-Egyptian, possibly some kind of a solar priestess energy going on there. And she didn't really speak to me. I just got this feeling from her of energy, not just moon or sun energy. It was different. Something again with the balance. It was a balanced energy, like both lunar and solar, even though she was showing me a solar side. But I felt like she was more lunar. So with the Helios coming through while I was doing a drawing down of the moon, and then now here's this lunar goddess, I think, showing me a sun, a solar side to her. I was just kind of like, whoa, yin yang yang yin, yin yang yang yin. So sometime after that, I definitely phased into a definite astral realm. And there was an astral gathering already going on for the full moon, corn moon celebration. There were rustic cabins around. The sky was clear and open. I did not see any stars in it. And people were spinning above small vortexes in the ground. So I joined in. I stepped into one of these energy spirals, and it lifted me up in the air, just kind of gently spinning me counterclockwise. It felt like being rinsed out a little bit because of the stretching going on and everything. But it also felt really good, like the best yoga ever or something. And I looked down and around using my 360 vision. I'm not sure why I also looked down, but I did. And I noticed I was thin, dark blue, and faintly glowing. Now, sometimes I do show up blue in the astral, not all the time. So it was just, a little bit different, and a reminder that in these realms we can become expressions of pure energy rather than anything particularly physical. Our form often mirrors our state of being. I guess I was being blue. Well, I was being blue. So at one point I heard a strange sound, a kind of rhythmic clinking that kept happening, like in the back of my head or something, like a distant telepathic clink, clink, clink. And I followed it along to a small vase. And I don't remember what the vase looked like much anymore, but there was a tiny silver dragon trapped in the side of it, and looking frustrated, like it was a little bit alive. And so I was wondering is it a fire elemental, possibly an ifrit? It looked silvery, not fiery, but it had a fiery feeling to it at the same time. And so it was like trapped in the side of this vase, and I couldn't figure it out. Like, is it supposed to be a holographic vase? But it didn't feel holographic. So I decided to try descending a little bit of warmth and fire energy into the vase, since it seemed to be metallic, and so was this dragon. So I thought a little fire energy shouldn't bother a dragon anyway, right? Like, as long as I'm gentle about it. And so when I did that, the vase melted just enough and the dragon got free. And then, of course, that was the idea, right? But then it surprisingly shape-shifted into a fluffy orange cat with a really bushy orange hair. I think like porcupine, but still really soft, with the soft hair of a cat. But it was bushy like a porcupine would be. So I petted it. And a nearby being, a woman, asked if the cat was mine. And I said, no, but maybe it needs a home. I mean, it was purring and everything and acting just like a cat. I don't know. And she offered to take it. And so I decided, okay, you can have the cat. So I don't know if she needed a new companion. And I told her I didn't know how long like she'd be able to keep it since we're in the astral. I reminded her we're in the astral. And she said that was okay. So I'm not sure she fully understood, but she thought even temporarily having a pet cat would be fun. So she floated off, petting the cat, all happy. And so I just explored for a little while longer. And in another room, a woman with long hair told me she was helping to run the event. She mentioned something called cherry familiars, like CHERRY. So I took that to mean little beings created for the event, kind of like tulpas or symbolic helpers. So I did not see any cherries, actual, looking fruity cherries floating around. But the idea stuck with me, something sweet, simple, temporary beings created from shared intentions, just for the celebration. And sometimes the names are portals into the meaning. So I'm still kind of scratching my head about the cherry interpretation there. I mean, maybe it's just really simple and it just means small or sweet and small. But I thought that was pretty neat. So I know I zoned out, and I think I was still in that same area in one of the cabins for this event. Only I was cooking, and I became more lucid, and someone was talking to me about becoming more lucid. It's time to get more lucid now. And I was doing like a half meat, half tofu stir fry, but there was no rice. I ended up serving it on crackers, which, I found weird myself. I was like, really? We're going to do it on crackers? And someone was totally delighted by the tofu. They were so excited about tofu. And I'm not a big fan myself, but this person loves it. And she was asking me, how much celery do you use? Apparently I was using large stocks of celery, and she hadn't ever thought to use celery. And I said, well, it depends on how much zing I want, because celery can give stir fries some crunch and some zing. And I use celery, but not to the degree I was there in the astral. I was just filling that stir fry up with lots of tofu, lots of celery. I think I remember carrots. I don't remember if there were onions or red peppers or anything yummy like that. I know it sounds nonsensical, but that's what I was doing, and I was still in the astral. So I don't know, maybe there's a metaphor there for spiritual nourishment, finding balance between flavors or something like that. And I mean, half did have meat in it. It was chicken, and the other half was pure tofu. Maybe I was just being polite so that people that don't eat meat could have something too. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of tofu, although I will eat it in some dishes. When it takes on the flavor of other things, I think it becomes a lot better. So, I don't know. Maybe it was just a comforting scene, or people just needed to eat. Now, remember, if you eat in the astral, it can help you stay longer. So that's another reason to eat anything you can find, basically. But of course, a nice dish like a stir fry is better than just eating dirt off the ground or something like that. So later on, I'm not sure if I zoned out and left or if I was still in the same general area, but I remember I was riding a futuristic electric motorbike, sleek and fast, nothing I would ever do in waking life. I would never drive a motorbike in waking life here. So I was in the astral, and I parked at a nearby park. That's right. It was a nearby park. So I wasn't in the same place. It was like an adjacent area or something like that. And there was another moon gathering that was happening. Yeah, it's coming back to me now. There was a whole other gathering of some kind, but I didn't know the people as well. And there was this large tan gray Greyhound breed of dog following me. And I don't know if you've heard of Greyhounds. Probably everyone has. But if not, they're quite large dogs. And they can have a ton of energy. But this one was calm. This was the calmest large kind of a Greyhound I've ever seen. I've only seen a couple in person, and I've seen a lot of them on TV, and they are supercharged dogs, like Dalmatians or something. But this one was so calm, curious, affectionate. And then later on, like I was playing with it for quite a while, like, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes in the Astral. And it was just following me around as I was like floating around the park, smiling at people that I didn't know. I'm just happy to be at a different celebration exploring. And it kept following me around, being all happy. And sometimes it would jump on me a little bit, but gently. And then I would, pet it, and it would grin. So it was just a nice time. It was such a nice dog. And then when it turned into the Shih Tzu, I was just perplexed. Like, which are you, a Greyhound or a little Shih Tzu dog? And it was fluffy white one. So cute again. But the demeanor actually more matches Shih Tzu. So I don't know. Maybe it was like a crossbreed. Maybe this is a crossbreed of a Greyhound somehow and a Shih Tzu. And that's just the way it displays in the Astral. I can only guess. So the corn moon brought layers and layers of stuff. Solar and lunar balance, fire energy, possible guides, familiars, and tulpas, a tofu stir fry served on crackers. It's just incredible, these moons. And, it doesn't always make sense. I keep saying that because it's so true. I can observe, I can go out there and explore, and sometimes things make sense and sometimes they don't. That's what you get in the Astral, all this stuff. So thanks for tagging along with me today. If you've had your own encounters with shape-shifting animals, solar beings during lunar work, or any strange familiars, I would love to hear about it. Please like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed this episode of The Astral Tourist. Until next time, happy astral travels.